Jeffrey, our youngest, is down in Blue Ridge, Texas. He's a ranch manager. And
Good evening. Linda Shufflebarger. Still talking today. Let's go. Good evening and welcome to the 2012 edition of the Worthington High School Alumni 30-Year Club. I am John Snoffer, President Class of 1970. Baby! Before we get started with dinner, I'd like to introduce Mr. Dave McCoy, Class of 62, who will lead us in our prayer and invocation.
Can we all bow our heads together, please? Thank you. Oh Lord, we are so thankful for this night. We thank you for all of our wonderful yesterdays as we celebrate with all the various classmates from all the wonderful years, especially the class of 1962 and our 50th reunion. We thank you for your grace, your love, and your protection through all of these years. You have brought us all together tonight for this very special moment in time. We are grateful that we have lived long enough to look into the faces of our classmates tonight and see our future realized. Remembering that 50 years ago, this moment seemed so distant, so far into the future, but here we are. We thank John Snoffer and all the fine folks who planned this evening. We appreciate and thank all those who prepared this food. We humbly ask that you nourish us so that we can continue to be of service to you. Thanks, O God, for this milestone in our lives. Now we ask that you continue to lead, guide, and direct us in the path we should go. In your name we pray. Amen.
Class of 62 cheerleaders and committee, come on up. Everybody else, please stand. Stand up. We will be accompanied by a CD of the Worthington High School Marching Band. If you don't remember the words are on the back of your program. The song verses, we do that twice, so don't stop after the first stanza, yes. And again, it has a very long ending, so if you can hold your voice for the ending, do so. And we got Danny in the back, and he's ready to go. Here we go. Okay. Dr. Thomas Tucker. I asked him to say a few things about himself, and then after that he was going to be allowed a little bit of an open mic for the rest of the 10 minutes. He started last August, so I hope that you've been making a good impression for him this evening. So, Dr. Thomas Tucker.
Thank you, John. Good evening and welcome. Come on, especially in the class of 1962. Good evening and welcome. Very good, very good. My thanks to the Worthington High School Alumni 30-year Club in making this celebration possible, and for the invitation to join you this evening to make a few brief remarks. But someone told me I only had 5 minutes, so I'm going to say who he is. Okay. First off, I would like to recognize the Worthington High School class of 1962 on your 50th anniversary. Through all of your hard work and dedication to your alma mater, you've made our community a better place to live and work. It has been a real pleasure getting to know the teachers, students, parents, and alumni of this great community. At a time of great challenge in Ohio schools, we have more than held our own. In fact, we have progressed here in Worthington. And I want to take the opportunity to thank you and the board for making this success possible. Worthington schools will continue our focus on maintaining excellent schools and developing socially conscious and compassionate students. You may have already heard by now that our students at Colonial Hills, and I know I have a lot of Colonial Hills folks out there. Colonial Hills Elementary, and our students here, Mr. Blaine, the phys ed teacher, rallied behind Matt Woodrum, a 5th grade student with cerebral palsy. Have you heard of that great story? They helped Matt to finish the 400-meter relay during the field day celebration the other day. Our teachers played a prominent role in our success, and their dedication and passion for our students is incredible. We are committed to making sure our students have the tools they need to not only achieve in our Worthington classrooms, but to continue on a path of success wherever the future takes them. If we are to remain one of Ohio's top school systems, we need to focus on providing students with innovative and rigorous 21st century learning opportunities, as well as maintaining the quality programs and services that our students and residents expect of the Worthington schools. Instilling a global perspective in our students, exposing them to the histories, languages, customs, and cultures of various countries, and building the academic bridges between schools and colleges is both a scholarly and an economic imperative. As we look to the future, it is very likely we're facing both a levy to maintain current operations and a no new millage bond issue to maintain facilities, buses, and technology in 2012. Folks, this comes after years of making cost savings and enacting cuts, and of seeing our revenues continue on a sharp decline. As a matter of fact, our 5-year forecast shows estimated revenue in 2016 to be less than 2008. Worthington is not alone in experiencing those fiscal challenges. State aid to local schools was drastically reduced in the current budget. Much of the decline in revenue is due to state and federal funding cuts and the elimination of certain business taxes, such as the tangible personal property tax. Making the decision to place a levy on the ballot is not an easy one, folks. But without additional funds, our excellence in progress is at risk. It gets better. Worthington schools remain committed to lean operations, and we're very proud of the work that has been accomplished by everyone. We will continue to focus on the fiscal picture of the school district and communicate with you and other community members regarding the need for this levy. I hope you will take the time to inform yourself and provide us with feedback as this critical decision is being explored and discussed during the next several months. The value of a Worthington School's education goes beyond high test scores and college acceptance rates. A Worthington School's education is about engaging the whole child, building relationships, and enabling and encouraging our students to grow, explore, achieve, and develop skills for life. In an era where districts across the country are focusing strictly on quantitative data, test scores, and which is important, no doubt, we still believe in the quality of relationships. And in my brief conversations with you, you talked about the great education that you've received, but you also talked about the relationships that you've built over the years. As neighboring school districts continue to eliminate world languages, the arts, after-school clubs, and athletic teams, we are committed to doing all we can to preserve them in Worthington. I recently had the good fortune on last Sunday to address the 2012 graduates of the Worthington schools. At both high school graduations, student speakers admonished the board not to continue down the dreaded road of staff and programmatic cuts. With this being my first year, they gave me a pass. While we have been forced to make some reductions due to tough economic times, we believe it is critical to maintain the programs that bring vitality and depth to the Worthington City School District experience. It is what sets us apart. It is what attracts young families to our communities and other families to stay. It is what makes our alumni, like you, so fiercely loyal and proud. It is what makes our buildings feel less like schools and more like home. I encourage you to visit our listing of the 2011-12 Points of Pride and evidence of our continued commitment to leadership in public education. From unique curricular offerings like the International Baccalaureate Program and Project Lead the Way, student achievement like National Art and Science Awards, to district recognition as housing one of the nation's best 21st century middle schools, and a national model for K-12, 7 through 12 STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math education. The district, your district, is truly a remarkable place. Thank you for your support of our schools and for your continued investment in our most important resource, the children of the Worthington schools. Thank you.
Okay, next to help us remember some of those experiences of 1962, may I introduce Mr. Damon Chip Wetterauer, former Westerville City Council President and a pretty good personal lawyer.
That's right.
Well, we've got the intellectual part of this away. It's my turn. Before I forget, John, I think it's probably happens every year, but I'm going to take this time to thank you and the time that you put in. Those of us that have put together a union in the past only have to do it once every 5, 10, or 15 years, and to do it every year is a major accomplishment. And on behalf of the class of 62, and I'm sure everybody else sitting in here, we'd like to thank you very much. I'll also be remiss if I didn't follow up the comments by suggesting that we were very, very fortunate, and probably should look back and thank those teachers that put up with some of the weird things that we did. Easy now. We were a good class.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, we were the best class. In case you can't tell, I'm proud to be part of that class. And let me tell you why I think we were the best, because we did the best with the least. The class before us in 1961 graduated 192 people. The class after us graduated 236 people. Our class graduated 175. And by the way, those members that are here from the class of 61, we don't know what you did. All I know is we worked our butt off, pardon me, we worked selling wrapping paper and cards to go on a trip. And you came back with the souvenirs and all we got was the stone sign out there. So, class of 61, thank you very much for that, ladies and gentlemen. It's also I'd like to thank, before I forget it, those that put this together for us. And anytime you stand up here and try and remember people's names, you're invariably going to leave somebody out. So I'm going to ask Susie or Linda, if I leave somebody's name out, please chime in. Let me see if I can go through these. Patty Cole, Linda Van Fleet, Shufflebarger, Susie Mamoni, Julia Sonner, and I know I'm missing somebody else. Ann Trapp. Sorry, Ann. You had to put up with all these years, so we appreciate that. Let me tell you what I think I mean by the best, so that you know. Our class sent 8 football players from the senior class on to play some level of college football, which is a pretty big accomplishment for a class of 175. We had the prettiest girls because 16 of our class members either married class members or people's school class members, and many of us are still married to the same person. My wife made me say that. A little bit about us also. When we came into school in 1959, the most popular song was Bird Dog by the Everly Brothers. When we graduated, it was I Can't Stop Loving You by Ray Charles. And for those of you that don't remember, we entered our junior year. The most important song of 1960 was Kathy's Clown. I wouldn't know that big. But seriously, the opportunities and the experiences we had were a great class. As I look around the room, even though Bobby Anderson gave me couldn't figure out who I was, I told him I was only 4 faces bigger than I was when I was in high school. But we were very, very fortunate people. We were very fortunate people to have come out where we did, to have the teachers that we had. And we were very fortunate, I think, today to be here, to see each other. And I want to let you know, those other members of the class, that we appreciate you taking the time to be here and to honor us. We're very, very, very pleased to be here, to be part of this. We're very happy that we're graduates of Westerville. See? That's what happens when you move away. Let me try that one more time. Rerun. Worthington High School. It was a great experience, a great bunch of people. I can't think of a greater group of people I've ever grown up with. And thank you so much.
Okay, I need all the graduates of 62 that are here, if you would come up and stand behind me, hopefully in somewhat of an alphabetical order, with Anderson over here and Zip down here. We will have the secretary of the Alumni Club, the lovely Miss Nicole Nesda.
When they're ready to pay attention.
Don't check them out.
The first classmate is Robert B. Anderson. Please come up and get your certificate. George G. Anderson.
Hey, George.
Robert Bob Anderton. Mary Sally Arnoff Brown. Oh, drop it, Brown. Mary Sally Arnoff. Pauline M. Barnett Coakley.
Hey, Mark.
Janet Bernhagen Prophet. Linda Carey Anderson. William G. Bill Chakras. Norman C. Chalfant. Susan Charlton. William J. Clifford. Patricia Cole Rose. Susan Cover Marmoni. Over. I asked about the Marmoni part. Charles F. Chick Dambach. Who made it here after an afternoon at the library, correct? Yep. Doing a presentation about his life, occupation, and book. Kathleen Finneran Evans. Suzanne Greenland McAdams. David Howell. Sherry Keating Paul. I'm French. Harry Halliday.
That's all right.
All right, what was the last one? Coleman, thank you. Henry Gary Coleman. Stephen Call. Stephen H. Call.
Yes, well,
Steve.
I saw they got the polo.
You guys have me so confused. I know your name's on here. Oh, there it is. Nancy Learned Lyons. I'm sorry. I only went to Worthington High School, or Worthington for 4 years. So I guess I don't know the alphabet. Beverly Lechner Wrinkle. Kathy Lindblom Winterhour. Dave McCoy. Michael E. Minister. Frederick Rick Myers.
Michael has been director of law for the city of Worthington for 37 years. I think that's a great accomplishment, Michael.
Frederick Rick Myers. Nick C. Norman. Robert Richards. Pam Rogers Johnston. Brad L. Rosenquist. Daniel E. Scanlon. And I will get this right. Linda Shufflebarger Van Fleet. And my brother-in-law, Daniel P. Snoffer. Julia Soner Shepard. Anne Tannehill Nightingale. William Thompson. Anne Trout. and Terry Zip Mills Brown.
And last but not least, Mr. Dick Baker. All right, thank you, folks. You may be seated. Thank you. Thank you, Nikki mentioned that you heard, and you can all know it again, another snoffer. My little big brother, Daniel. But let me just say that for the class of 62, I've known a lot of you, even though maybe you didn't know me. But I've known a lot of you for all those years, watching you play in sports, playing with you in sports even today. Don't ever play golf with Steve Call. I've seen you in plays, musicals, and so on. Some of you still live in Worthington, and you kind of value that Worthington tradition that you grew up with. You've played some vital roles in your lives. Like I mentioned, my minister and Chip in Westerville, and you should be very proud of yourselves. And I know that I'm very proud of my brother and all my relatives that have gone to Worthington. You cleaned up your act pretty good. And you're living some fairly decent and respectable lives. So I congratulate you on your 50 years. You got to remember that as the younger brother of families like mine, you grow up and get picked on all the time. So just remember that in a couple years when I stayed up here for my 50 years. You can have pity on me. I would like to recognize from the class of 1946, Virginia Hedrick Dill. Virginia, where are you? Please stand up. Virginia is also on the board of trustees. Earliest graduate. And Wanda Buck Jewett. Wanda, did you make it? There's Virginia over there, and there's Wanda. Okay, 1952, could you please stand? Celebrating their 60th year. They're back there, okay. 1972, 40 years. I think a couple of them are back there, all right. And the new inductees, the class of 1982. I know a couple are over here. Hopefully in the years to come, we will have more of them attend our reunion. They're having their own reunion later in the summer. I think most of them wanted to just kind of be by themselves. On the next section with the remembrance, if you noticed in your program, we've started adding some of the administrators or other teachers that have passed in the last year. The younger generation will know more of John Miller, Helen Davis, but of course I think we all knew Mary Lou Bach. And she passed a couple of months ago. If you see that someone is missing in the program that you know has passed, just in this last year, please let us know. We need to keep our files up to date. It's not nice to get a return letter invitation saying my wife or husband passed away last year. So we want to keep that on track. I would like to have my Vice President of Membership, Diane Blaine. Just stand up real quick, Diane. Diane is the young lady that sends you your emails. She sent out over 4,000, around 4,000 emails. And speaking of that, you need to be prepared in late February and early March to get that email. If we have your email, we're sending you an email and not a pink slip like we did this year. Okay, so you have to be ready for that. She also then is responsible for the over 8,000 people that we have on our rosters as graduates of Worthington High School. And we try to keep that up to date as best we can. Over to my left is Mr. Mark Cameron, who is responsible for our website. Graduated 1979. And cameras, so he'll have those pictures up in about a half hour after we're done, right?
Pictures probably, not the video.
Tomorrow morning, maybe. And if you don't know what it is, www.WHS, what is the rest of it? Alumni.
Just Google it up. It's on top of Google.
Mark saved me. It says that I help him, but I really don't. Mr. Andrew McKay, class of 51. I'd like for him to be recognized. He is our Memorial Day Parade truck person. Jack Max from AAA. I forget how many years you've been working, but I don't know if you want to tell everybody there. Long time. I also want to thank all those people that included a little bit of donation and extra money. When you sent back your reservations, you don't know how much we appreciate that. And again, in years of tough time, we actually lost money last year, and we were able to make that up by a generous donation. If you visit the McConnell Arts Center, remember there's an alumni book that you can sign about your experiences at the old high school, whether it was elementary, high school, or anything you just remember about going into that old building. It's at the front desk. We've already filled the book once. Leadership Worthington and another group are going to use that in special projects, and it's kind of neat to see what people have written into that book. Also, at the high school, Dan Gerard, who is a graduate of Worthington High School, what year? 80-something? Is the new athletic director. He has taken a room and made it the Alumni Room, which many of you have seen on our website. If you have any memorabilia, athletic, musical, anything that you are throwing out, don't throw it out. Either take it to Thomas, send it to me, somehow give it to somebody local, and we'll get it into the room. They're already saying they need more room, because it's just been jam-packed with stuff. Hold on, Mark. If you can see, in the middle of this one over here on the left, underneath Cardinal Country, that was a poster sign made by the art class celebrating the 1939 Franklin County football champs. My dad was on that team. The top one is a picture of Frank Cozy, former baseball coach who passed away a few years ago. Such a neat room. If you're ever just around and want to go through that room, it'll take you a while. But look at some of the stuff that's been donated. It's pretty neat. Okay, a little bit of business. Formally, the Alumni Club has to re-elect members of its board. And again, in your program, if you look at the 3-year term that is ending in 2012, we need to elect, and those people who are up for re-election are Pam Hecker-Galpold, 1964. Pam, wave or stand up just real quick. Nicole Nessa, 1969. Nancy Central is not here tonight. She got bombarded by out-of-town guests. Bill Pefferly, 1972. And Dan Owens, 1955. So I need a motion.
I so move.
Thank you, sir. Any second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor, just signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Dan, Bill, don't say anything. Thank you very much. That's been accepted. The last formal thing that I have to say is that occasionally we do honor someone as an outstanding alumni or somebody that has something to do with alumni in Worthington. You've noticed the list in your program. There are a couple of teachers listed. This year we are actually giving that award to a husband and wife. And if you guess who it is, keep it to yourself. Don't say anything out loud. Okay? The husband is no longer with us, but the wife is here in attendance. Okay. The husband lived from 1913 to 1997. He was a 1931 graduate of Worthington High School, World War II veteran, came home and joined his father in the practice of medicine. Their office was up on the village green, right in front of their house. There's a snoffer store that goes with that, where my grandfather's first wife was escorted up in a wagon to the doctor because she had some personal problems and she never came back. And my grandfather then remarried, and then were the beginnings of the 5 Snoffer brothers. So this family has been very, very close and dear to me. He was elected to the Board of Education in 1952, serving 20 years. Instrumental in the growth of the district by adding 8 new buildings. He served on the athletic board from 1952 to 1972, was a team doctor for 2 decades, founding board member of swimming. He made very numerous home visits for measles and chickenpox to yours truly. Gave me allergy shots once a week for years, not just in the office up on High Street, but he even let me come to his house. Stitched up my lip twice after running into lampposts and swing sets. Came to my rescue in Whitehall when I was undercut in a basketball game and broke my collarbone. Came to my rescue at Riverside Hospital when I broke my leg and somebody spiked me in a baseball game. She, though, on the other hand, was around for all her 6 kids who graduated from Worthington High School. Went to many board members with her husband, but she was there for her kids, cheerleading, musicals, sports events. 4 of her children are here tonight. One is California. The other is no longer with us also. And if you guessed who that is, I would like to award the Worthington High School Outstanding Alumni Award to both George and Betty Bonnell.
Your shot at recess time when you used to come to the office.
Shots at recess, oh boy. Jeff, would you like to say something?
I'm Jeff. Mom bought the house that she's still living in 1944. I'm sure, well, Daddy was stationed at Fort Bend Harrison. I'm sure her story is similar to many of your families. She raised kids. We're all graduates of Worthington High School. We're all from Worthington. Worthington's home. The one thing that, even though that our lives take us in many directions, and we go hither and yon, we still come home. Worthington is still home. And even though years ago, Thomas Hardy said, "You can't go home again," I think we all, right here in this room, prove him wrong. I say to all of you, welcome home.
Just in conclusion, next year for the class 63 and everyone else, June 7th is our date. Mark that on your calendars. And then the next year will be June 6th. Afterwards, I would like to have all the Snoffer, Hards, Jewetts, Wilcoxes, Morgans, anybody. We're all related, you all know that. Make sure we get our family picture taken together up here afterwards. Chipper has something to say.
I don't want Linda Shufflebarger to shoot me because she asked me to do something at my age I forgot. So please excuse me while I do what I should have done earlier. The following announcement, prior to the end of the dinner, that's what I'm supposed to have done. She'd like to announce that there will be a party at El Dorado's just north of Jerry's Drive, and immediately following the dinner, Eddie Polina's band will play the oldies. And tomorrow morning, those of you in class who are interested in going through and touring the high school, be up there at 8:30. And if you allow me, just 2 last comments. I talked about what a great class we were. We also had some very, very fantastic Olympic athletes. As a matter of fact, there was a group formed called NIF. And I am very, very, very disappointed that I didn't have the opportunity to watch those workouts. And we also had some very great songwriters in the class of '62, the most famous song of which was Big Bad Blue.
Now, I know all of you aren't computer experts and gurus and so on, but 2 sites that are very popular. We do have an alumni Facebook page where we do give out announcements, but the big site is called You Know You're From Worthington If You Remember ... It's a fantastic page, started by Dan Brenner, class of '73, I think it is, and then I also share with that. If you are on Facebook and are not part of that group, all you have to do is ask, and Dan or I will accept you. It's fantastic. The photos, the stories, the remembrances of growing up in Worthington are just unbelievable. And we post pictures and talk about the old times. So with that, we are not really out of here right now. We don't need to be. Just like before, you can stay and talk, socialize, and so on. But the formal part will be finished as we will sing the alma mater. So if you look at the back of the program again, if you do not remember the words, please stand. Arm in arm, hand in hand. Mr. Dave McCoy will lead us. Again, we have the accompaniment by Thomas Worthington. I think it is choir. I mean, yes. No offense to Ohio University graduates, but stand up and cheer is Worthington's song. Thank you for coming. Please, you do not have to leave. You can stay and walk around, share experiences, talk about old times. If anybody else is interested in the tour tomorrow at 8:30, you're more than welcome to join the class of '62. Dan Gerard will be leading that, I believe. Yes. Where do we meet? Where do you meet?